Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam amma ba'd. So Ismail, this is not crossword puzzle time. Something that's very, very important for us, Ibrahim, is that we know how to treat each other. Because I see that sometimes we're making fun of each other, which we shouldn't be doing. We are, and then when you make fun of someone, Bilal, when someone makes fun of you, do you feel good about that? Do you like people to make fun of you? Okay, Musa, when someone's talking about you behind your back or they're making fun of you, how do you feel? You feel bad. Abdul Salam, do you think it's a good thing to make fun of other students or other people in the community? Of course not. Jazakumullah khairan. Not only does it not feel good, Anas, not only does it not feel good and that it makes you feel bad, but it causes you to dislike each other. You should never be disliking each other. You guys are brothers and sisters in Islam, which is higher than being brothers and sisters in the tribe. All of you maybe are, from particular tribes, and maybe some are Somali, some are not Somali. Some, I'm African American. This one is this one is Japanese. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that you do not make fun of one another, and that you do not have hatred between each other. The Prophet ﷺ ordered us. And I want you to listen to one hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which is very important. An Abi Huraira, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: تفتح أبواب الجنة يوم القيامة فيغفر لكل عبد لا يشرك بالله شيئا إلا رجلا كان بينه وبين أخيه شحناء فيقال انظروا هذين حتى يصطلحا انظروا هذين حتى يصطلحا انظروا هذين حتى يصطلحا رواه Muslim. In this hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this was narrated by Abu Huraira radiyallahu anhu. Bilal, who is it narrated by? Who said the hadith? Who narrated it? Abu Huraira, barakallah fiqh, Abdul Kareem. So listen, I'm talking not to myself, but I'm talking to you to listen. No. Bilal. So Abu Huraira, he narrated this hadith. And the Prophet, he narrated this on the Prophet. The Prophet ﷺ said that the babs, or the take your hoodie off and sit down. He said that the doors of paradise are open on Yawm al-Ithnain or Yawm al-Khamis. Yawm al-Ithnain meaning what? Meaning Monday. Yawm al-Khamis meaning Thursday. Ascent. And so the day of judgment, those are the days to fast because there's ajr. So tuftah abwab al-Jannah Yawm al-Ithnain or Yawm al-Khamis. فَيَغْفِرْ لِكُلِّ عَبْدٍ لَا يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ شَيْئًا. And every slave that does not commit shirk will be forgiven on Mondays and Thursdays. Whoever does not do shirk, does not do polytheism, does not worship other than Allah, that does not make supplication to other than Allah, that does not make tawaf around graves, that does not ask from the dead, then they will be forgiven. They will be forgiven on Yawm al-Ithnain or Yawm al-Khamis. The Prophet ﷺ said Yawm al-Ithnain or Yawm al-Khamis. He didn't say fasting. Hold on. In this hadith, he did not mention fasting. And he said, فَيَغْفِرْ لِكُلِّ عَبْدٍ لَا يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ شَيْئًا إِلَّا الرَّجُلَ. Except one man. Except one. So the first condition is that you don't commit shirk. The second condition is that you are not the person كَانَتْ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ أَخِيهِ شَحْنَاء. Meaning that between this believer and another believer, they had some hatred. They had some beef with each other. They disliked each other. Yeah. And that's why it's important to make sure you have good relations with each other. Not just in the duksi, but everywhere you go. You should have good relations with your brothers and sisters. in Islam. You shouldn't make fun of each other. You shouldn't do anything that's going to make your brother or sister hate you or dislike you. Otherwise, you will not gain that benefit. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, إِلَّا رَجُلًا كَانَتْ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ أَخِيهِ شَحْنَاء. So between them, they had, enmity. They disliked each other. They had problems with each other. And then it will be said about them, watch those two until they make up. Watch those two until they make up. Watch those two until they make up. And this was collected in Muslim. We learn from this hadith that you have to have good treatment of each other. And you have to respect one another. And you should not hate one another. You should not dislike one another. Even if you have some problems with each other, try to work it out. Even if you might not like this one like you like this one, it's not always going to be even, no. But do not hate each other, because your forgiveness could be being stopped. And you need forgiveness from Allah. Does anybody want to fast just for the exercise and the diet? No. You want to fast because لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you will gain taqwa, so that you will gain God fearfulness. Okay, the fasting is to help your taqwa, and it is obedience to Allah, and you get ajr. You want ajr, don't you? When you fast, you want ajr?
Yeah.
Uncover your face then, and sit up like you have sense. So you want ajr for whatever you do. We have to be respectful and not hate one another. And the reason I mention that, because of what we've had in this class. I've seen many of you making fun of each other, ridiculing each other, calling this one this, acting like this one this, fighting. I'm hearing some of you were fighting. Okay? That's not acceptable. That's never acceptable, and especially in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially in the masjid. That's not acceptable, never. Bilal, are you listening? So what did I say?
You said it's not acceptable to fight, especially in the masjid.
Ahsant, naam. It's not acceptable to be fighting and hating each other and disliking. If you're fighting each other, of course, that means your hearts are far apart. So you have to respect each other, because you're memorizing the Quran as a Muslim. You're not memorizing the Quran just because you want to write books about it, or you want to talk about what it's like to be a Muslim, but you're memorizing it so you can practice it, so you could be a better Muslim. That's the whole point. The point isn't just for exercise, just to exercise your mouth, no. But the point is to get ajr from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you want that ajr and you want that forgiveness to be stopped, then of course you're going to do the bad things. You're going to do the things like hate one another and disrespect one another. But if you want ajr from Allah and you want forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you will do those things which pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I ask Allah the Almighty to bless us all to memorize His book and to practice His book in a manner that pleases Him. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.